welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Ron.
And we have a guest with us today. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is John G. from Arlington, Virginia.
Welcome.
Welcome, John.
I might need you.
Yes,
I might need you.
Back up from Ron.
Yes, of course. And you know, this is a show that we always argue about the shy. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of debate going on today as we get started on our discussion about season 5, episode 7. It was titled Angels.
I got my water so I can get in Ron's butt.
Yeah, you better start drinking now. You better start drinking now.
Well, you guys hang tight. They're going to quench their thirst and we'll be right back. To get started on this discussion of episode 7 of The Shy. It opened up kind of steamy, you know, Emmett and Tiff, you know, doing what they do. And I'm so mad at Emmett for still having Tiff have a key to his house.
No, I was going to say, why she have a key? That
probably just should have been taken.
She should have given that key back.
No, she can keep the key, change the locks. The first thing you should have done when she stepped out the door was change those locks. Locks should be changed.
I do agree with that, because and the fact that she thinks she has the right, like you just because you guys share a child, like when you left and moved in with someone else, I mean, you forfeited the right to come and go in that house.
Yes.
So she was out of pocket for coming in there with a key.
Yeah, and John, feel free to jump in here.
Well, I'll tell you what I think personally. I think she was looking to walk into the situation she walked into personally.
There you go.
That's why, because at the end of the day, if you're in a relationship, you have boundaries, right? You're in a new relationship with Rob. You don't just go in no dude's house like that without knocking.
That part.
You could have text or all of that type of stuff, but she was looking for what she found, just personally.
That's so true.
And you know,
got it too.
And we talk about, and we're gonna get into it. I know we talk about girl code and breaking girl code. She broke a bunch of codes. I mean, you don't just walk up in no dude's house after you left. You know, regardless of whether you have a key or not, you knock. You know, and if he doesn't answer, take your butt home. But you know, Tiff has been she's been looking for trouble. She's been looking for trouble from day one when she dropped Emmett. She's just been looking for trouble.
Oh, and don't even get started on this parent-teacher conference that they went to.
She was out of pocket for that.
They was arguing, airing their dirty laundry out in front of the teacher. I'm like, what is this?
Poor little EJ.
That skill's not a good look. And the thing is this, it would have been bad if it happened in front of any teacher. But I'm glad that it was a sister, because the sister was stern enough to be like, look, and check them both. Like, it's not about y'all, it's about this baby. So it was an embarrassing sight either way.
The baby's got to be job one, and everything else has to, be put to the side. And frankly speaking, I don't even know what Tiff's mad at in the first damn place anyways, because, like I keep saying, you the one that brought this on, you the one that started all this mess, but you keep carrying this heavy burden with you about, I suppose, what you're going to do versus what you're doing, but you can't force your hand into Emmett's life now. You the one that broke up, you the one that wanted to get out, and you can't force your hand as to what Emmett should be doing. As far as you're concerned, you want Emmett to be sitting home twiddling his thumbs, hoping that you come knocking on the door. It don't work
that part. She wanted him to chase her, because she was like, you better not be calling me to beg me to come back. That stuff, like, so in that respect, I am glad that Emmett is showing her his butt right now. I said, because that was really disrespectful for her to say in front of her new boo last week too. I wasn't feeling that. And then I didn't like the way she was treating Keisha. And I was so glad when Emmett checked her and was like, stop being mean to Keisha. And she was like, I'm still trying to digest it. He was like, well, you better start digesting. I was like, oh, you better step up, Emmett.
Emmett over her, and she has an issue with Emmett being over her because he healed the proper way. But if anything, I got from Miss Green, the conference with Miss Green, is that they need counseling. See, a lot of times people think you need counseling when you're together, but sometimes when you have a kid or sometimes you're going through a divorce, you still need counseling to figure out how y'all gonna co-parent. So I thought that was a good scene to show that.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Preaching the word.
You're absolutely right.
And a lot of times,
somebody to mediate.
And a lot of times in relationships like that, you know, women tend to, you know, take the child and make the child a pawn against the father. You know, not wanting the child.
And not just women, because men do it too.
I know that. But a lot of times women are the ones with custody of the children in most instances. And, you know, they don't necessarily want to co-parent. Now, I do give it to Tiff that Tiff does want to co-parent, and she seems to be okay with that trip. But, you know, she's got to understand the things that come out of her mouth and the way she reacts around the baby. That baby's growing up with all that mess. And, you know, she's got to chill. She made her bed. I don't understand why she can't lay in it, you know.
But you know what I found interesting about this episode is when they were sitting down on the couch working out scheduling and stuff, and Emmett started talking about how he wanted to leave behind a legacy and have something for his other sons to have like a business to pass on. And Tiff seemed surprised to hear that from him. And I'm like, well, I mean, this is not anything new. Like Emmett has been trying to build his business forever, but it seems like she's just now really tapping into how dedicated he is to that mission. And she's like, well, why didn't you ever say that to me? And I'm like,
yeah, you never told me that you wanted it. He said I
think he changed. You know what I'm saying? I think he started focusing, like, remember Master Marshawn, he started focusing more on his purpose.
Yep.
So I think that he was so busy trying to keep her, he didn't get an opportunity to really even think about what he really wanted to do. He was just trying to keep things afloat.
And I was going to say that really does prove like that his whole mindset has shifted. And I think that, especially if you've seen the previews for next week, she's definitely having a change of heart, because now she sees how he has progressed. And Keisha even said it. He's changed.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
I hope he sends her on his way.
I'm gonna tell you what little light changed everything. See, when she walked in on Emmett and Keisha, and she saw that development, and then she saw how Keisha responded to her, how, you know, she saw her mannerisms, how she responded. She already knows. And then what Emmett said to her, now she gets it. She gets the full picture now. And she sees that picture does not include her.
Right.
So what is
and you know, Rob is getting sick of her mess too. So she might be
looking at
a little bit.
I think it includes her. It includes her, but not in the role that she wants.
But this is what I'm saying. It doesn't include her back into that realm of, you know, she and Emmett. She sees that you know, Keisha has taken her place. And like you said, even in the preview, I'm trying to figure out how long Rob's gonna take that mess.
Not long.
You made a prediction, Ron, a week or so ago that she might be by herself, and I think you might be right on that. I'm
telling you, because no good man is going to put up with that. But let me say this: no good, strong man is going to put up with that for too long.
That's true.
You know, you can't emasculate Rob. Rob don't look like the type that can be emasculated.
No.
And now he's a good, seemingly, you know, we were talking about it. You know, we don't know his backstory. We don't know much about him. But so
he seemed to be a good dude. Yeah.
So far, he seems to be a good dude. And I'm just waiting on that moment when he flex.
And ain't nobody trying to be second fiddle. Ain't nobody trying to be second fiddle.
Yeah.
Exactly. I just want to see him flex on her and say, you know what, you can walk with this attitude, sweetie.
Yeah.
I'm just confused on what she really wants, because she said he seems like he might be my Russell Wilson, right? But Sierra not going to go to the Broncos and try and figure out what the playbook is. You know, she went to him and tried to get his connect. And I'm just like, well, wait. Like,
I thought that was crazy too. Last week I was trying to figure out, like, okay, like, we partners, I don't know. She's been all over the place.
Yeah, and y'all remember I got torn apart when I called her a certain name, which I'm not going to use.
Because she ain't deserve that. She been all over the place, but she ain't deserved the T word.
Well, can we just call it, what, toxic?
No, he called her
he
called her tramp.
I'm saying if you
call her toxic.
You know
You can
what?
call her toxic. Now that's different. That's something different. But the tramp word, that was too harsh.
Okay, what in my opinion, everything that we've seen so far.
It still doesn't warrant that.
Well, how do y'all think she's going to take the news that Keisha is moving in and that it's like really serious?
I'm telling you.
You saw how she popped up.
In the preview when she popped up, we all know what she had in mind.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that.
I hope Keisha come out the cut.
Right.
So and
a little lingerie or something.
And so
I just don't think it's gonna work this time. I just don't.
No, I think he's gonna send her on his way. I do not think he's gonna succumb to her this time.
That's so low life, though. That is so low life. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so low life. And look,
It's desperate. It's desperate.
I wanted to romp with Tiff because I like her. She's a pretty girl. She's not dumb, and she seems to want to get out there and hustle. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a lady on your side that wants to get out and hustle. I don't have a problem with that. It's just that everything I've seen thus far is very low life. I called it a tramp. Y'all don't want to use the term, so okay, I'm not going to use the term, but I'm gonna tell you, it's about as low as you can go. It's about as low. She's getting very, very low. Okay, call it.
It still don't work.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, she's a runner. She's a track star, is what she is. Because every time things get real, she kind of roll out. Like if you think about it, she left her mom's house twice. Really, you remember first season she left her mom's house, was with a drug dealer, just like Rob. Yeah. And what I'm saying. Then her and Emmett got back together. She left her mom again to go with Rob. Yeah. And now it's like. She done ran from Emmett, she done ran from her mother. Her mother was telling her the truth. And now it's just like, she about to run from Rob again.
Yeah, she's just not used to confronting her issues head on. I think she used to get in her way. Mm-hmm. That's really the problem there. And then, another couple on the show this week that had some relationship issues. I was surprised to see that Fatima had another dude up in the house.
Look, I wasn't surprised. First of all, talk about somebody talk about somebody not respecting boundaries. Trig Victor should not have popped up without calling.
Facts. You're right.
First off, that's a no-no. And they aren't exclusive, so you don't do that. So he and Tiff should be on the hands list.
Well, I disagree with Trig because, he was getting a certain vibe. And
you don't pop up at any woman's house.
But I'm saying he was getting a certain vibe. So
what? So what? You call first.
He paid the price. Now, I'm not disagreeing with you. He paid the price, but he knocked on the door, and I guess he was expecting something different. So
call first.
I agree to
call first.
Man or woman, before you call.
Man or woman, yeah. It applies to us too. You call first. Mm-hmm. And then your face won't be on the floor like that.
Exactly. Because I think Trig is going to realize though that it's a deal breaker for Fatima where she's like, I don't want to be a secret. And Trig is not at a point where he can really have a public relationship with her. So it's like, what are we doing here?
Well, right.
But the other guy in there was a secret though. So you can't have it both ways.
We don't know that the other guy was a secret.
Hey, you know what?
Trig ain't know about him.
You know what?
Well, Trig probably didn't ask.
It might not have been.
He ain't asked. He ain't called.
You know what?
It don't mean the guy in the house was a secret.
You know what? It might not have been anybody in there. Maybe she was trying to teach Trig a lesson. Maybe she wants Trig to move forward with their relationship, and she figured if I make him jealous, this might work. Y'all women come up with all kinds of schemes now. Come on.
Yeah, true. But I think somebody was in there.
Yeah.
And if there was no call, there's no way she just going, yeah. And then she came out with the negligee on. She
exactly. Somebody was up in there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For sure.
Somebody was up in there.
It's possible. But I'm just saying.
Nah, she ain't know he was coming.
But she gave Trig, I think, more than what she should have.
Mm-hmm.
Because she really led him on. She let him on.
Mm,
She let him on in the sense that
I wouldn't say
she's the
we
one
don't
talking
know
about.
she put it
Wait a
out
minute,
there.
hold up. Who's the one talking about being exclusive and not being a secret? That was her.
Yeah, it
First off,
was her.
He
It
the
was.
one in a fake relationship.
No,
And
no,
he
no, no,
gave-
no, no,
he
no, no,
chased
Tiff.
her
I'm
down
not
for
gonna
her
let you do
number
that.
and
No,
everything.
no. You're not gonna change the narrative here. We're not talking about fake relationships. I'm talking about what she wanted from Trey. She didn't want to be a secret, and she was one telling Trey that he needs to live his life and not be a fake. Da 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 da.
So she's supposed to stop her life while he
No, I'm
figures
not
it
saying.
out?
No. What I'm saying is she let him on. That's all.
She
did.
didn't lead him on.
That's-
She didn't lead him on.
yeah,
She
and
said it fits. She said she told him how she felt. Said it feels like I'm a secret or a mistress and stuff. So she put the seed in his head. She let him know how she was feeling. They're not in an exclusive relationship. She
Yeah.
can date who she wants.
My
He-
point is, if they're
he
not
ain't
in
ready
an
to compete.
exclusive, if they're not in an exclusive relationship, then all that little chatter that she gave him wasn't really necessary. And because of the
True.
fact that if they're not in a real relationship or they're not trying to get there, then what's the point in saying I don't want to be a secret, yada yada yada? You know you're a secret when you walked up on him. You know that he can't go out and just let the world know who you are because of his situation. You knew all that, Miss Reporter. So you know what's down. So you don't tell me that she didn't know.
Well, all of that does not mean it's okay for him to pop up at her house.
Okay, there you go. Wanting to change the
So
narrative.
so
Okay,
regardless,
so let's
of
change the
whether
narrative.
he let
Let's
her
change the
on or
narrative
whatever.
for you. Let's change the narrative. You're right. He should not have popped up on her at her house. I agree 1000%. However,
Thank you.
girlfriend needs to stop. She needs to let him know what she wants. Either
I think she already did tell him that.
so
By saying that she didn't want to be a secret. So the ball is in the court right now.
but she's being
He's still in a
She
fake
don't wanna
relationship.
She don't want to be a secret, but she's being secretive. Double standard.
That's exactly. That's what I said.
Double
How's she
standard. I
being
got you.
secretive? He popped up at the house. What?
But
Y'all
she
are
didn't.
tripping.
When she said she wanted to be exclusive, she wasn't. She didn't say I'm openly dating right now. That would be keeping it 100. She didn't do that.
Thank you, John. It's all
And
about keeping it
she knew
100.
about
Did
his
she have to say that if they're
No,
not exclusive?
she didn't have to say.
If
She
I'm not
knows Trey's
exclusive, I
whole
don't have to
relationship.
I shouldn't have to tell you that I'm dating other people if we're not exclusive.
Exactly. And you don't have to come out with that secret stuff. You don't have to put me on blast. You don't have to make my life seem to be seemingly the one that's got the problem. And you are, just sitting back trying
She living her life, not sitting back waiting on him to choose her.
And he was living his. So
he was living his and he popped up at her house.
Right, whatever.
Can we give Trey some props for how he handled that situation though?
He did have it well. Listen, I like Trey. So I mean, I'm not, any other time I'm not mad at Trey. I'm just saying that's a no-no for a man.
I think they both handled it good. I think they both handled it good with how he popped up and then how he left and he didn't cause a scene or anything. He ain't blowing her up.
But I can tell you right now,
worse.
whatever she was doing is going to work. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if he really wants her, he's going to fight for her. So he's going to do whatever it takes to get her.
Well, I don't know. Because it looks like, in the previews for next week, Shad is trying to plant that seed about Tiara. Like, you tripping if you let this queen, you keep ignoring this queen here. And so it seemed like Trig.
I think he's tripping too, but.
You think Rashad is like feeling Tiara?
No.
I think that Trig, like in life, you're taught like, the things that you got to kind of force, that's not God's work. But things that kind of fall into place for you, that's, God's work. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
It might be a fake relationship, but she's starting to fall a little bit. That's a little bit easier than what he really wants.
Exactly.
I know it's all about, hey, you got to fight for what you want. But I mean, that situation, how things are falling, you might just need to chill out for a little bit.
And it was funny to me that Tiara started like kind of flirting with Trig, trying to like suggest.
Yeah, exactly.
After the situation with Jake, once they found out that he was about to welcome a baby, she started having the baby talk too. And she seemed like she was suggesting that she would be open to making their fake relationship a real thing.
Here we go. Here we go. She got secrets too. Yeah, so we know that from.
Yeah, she sure do.
I don't know how Rob's gonna feel about that.
Y'all women, y'all kill me. I love y'all to death, but y'all kill me. And I mean, y'all can hurt a man. Y'all can hurt a brother deep. Y'all cut deep. That's all I got to say. Y'all cut
Trey
deep.
looked like he was flattered by her flirt.
He was.
That's why I was about to say he might be having a change of heart on that one.
I was like, is he interested?
Look,
You know, when I saw him smiling, I was like,
I don't think Trig, I think Trig likes women. I think he likes trans. I don't think he has I mean, he may like one better than the other, but I don't think he's totally against, having a woman. And he also knows that look, she's fine. She's a pretty, intelligent.
I think the hesitation comes with
Trig likes feeling secure.
Yeah, that's true. He said she likes security, and he likes security. Yeah. I kind of agree with that. Mm-hmm. And I think,
just like, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was like, just like Tiff has probably father issues, Trig definitely has mother issues, and that showed in the previous episodes. And then his mom just left again, so he likes being where he can feel secure. Imani made him feel secure. Fatima, to a certain point, was making him feel secure. And maybe this relationship, this new one, could possibly make him feel that way. So maybe that's why he was flattered.
That's a good point.
That's a good point, and it speaks to a point somebody tweeted about Jake, and I think it applies to Trig too, saying that Jake has abandonment issues, and it said that's why he wanted the baby so bad. And I was like, yeah, they both do because of the mom and everything. So I can definitely see your point, John.
Yeah.
But is she playing games though? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking the question, and I'm putting it out there to you.
Tiara? You're asking if Tiara's playing games?
I mean, what is she on? What is she playing games with Trig?
It's hard to say because her affiliation makes me question her from the break.
Exactly. I mean, when you look at where she's from, who she's with, and then this whole dropping a dime on I would love to have a baby and yada yada and all this stuff. I'm just not feeling her right now. Maybe she's genuine, but I don't. Beware.
She's definitely manipulating them. Definitely.
See, that's
because they have to keep him manipulated in order to be able to use him as the pawn like they really want to.
Good point.
Like Fatima, if he's with Fatima, they can't really control him. But being with her, they definitely can, like they want to.
Because you know what? She's not a dummy. She sees which way he's headed. So she may be putting little nuggets in his mind to bring him back closer to her so she can control him more. So that they can control him more. So I'm not feeling her.
Well, let's see.
I'm with you.
But we talked a little bit about the Jake and Gemma situation. So it opened up where Jake finally did come out and tell Trig, and he was kind of being very self-centered with his approach. Like he was just really thinking about himself and how it affected his campaign and how the community would view them as a whole. Yeah, and I was like, that was the complete wrong approach to take versus Gemma's dad, who I got to give the game ball to. He showed up this episode.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, all the way around. Like he was very supportive of her, which is something we don't get to see a lot of Black fathers do on TV. So I applaud the writers for even putting that in there, like just showing a positive.
Right.
Even to have a Black father in the midst is gives kudos to the writers, but I think that Trig, not necessarily protecting him, but I think that he was probably more pissed off because he did ask Jake.
Right. Lied.
And he lied, and so I think his reaction was more probably based on the fact that he lied, and he had to come back with it, and now Jake is ready to talk, and he's like, okay, well, I asked you and you lied in my face, so lies are a big deal, particularly when it comes to things like that. So I think that was probably why he was more angry than he might have been had he told him earlier on.
I don't know, because it's actually fun. That part hit home for me because I had a kid early, like right before I finished college. And that's the same conversation I had with my mother and my father. Literally. Because before they thought maybe, she's my wife now, but they thought she was pregnant and they thought that I was hiding it. And then it was about what it looked like outside, and then you have to take care of your responsibilities. That conversation probably hits home a lot more in Black households, especially when you have them younger than anything. So I know that a lot of us guys can really identify with that scene.
Yeah, because I mean, Trey came in, he was like forcing Jacob off the couch, go figure out what you're gonna do, how you gonna take care of it.
I've been there.
Pressure. So yeah, I think it's different for younger Black men, because like I was thinking about Jemma's dad's approach, where he was like, you know, you have my support. And I think in general, the thought is that like a Black mother has to be present and responsible no matter what. But as a Black father, like it's like some guys feel like it's optional to be present. And I think Trig was like, no, it's not for you. Like, it's not optional. You're going to handle your responsibilities. So that's why I think he came down a little bit harder on him. But man, when I tell you, somebody must have been cutting onions this episode, because, you know, at the concert scene, you know, Maisha is performing, she's doing her thing. And of course, you know, all the friends are in the crowd watching, and Bakari, I could choke him out.
Bakari is a menace.
He is terrible. Like, he's would not let it go that the security guard, you know, dissed him or whatever, made him feel some kind of way. So he just had to go and set it off up in the concert. And, you know, that's the thing about being a youth and being a misguided youth, is that you don't think about the consequences of your actions, and you don't think about how it's going to affect everybody else around you. So I was so upset with him this episode. You know, guys,
I was too.
Trampled in the crowd, and I was heartbroken. I was really hoping that what happened wouldn't happen.
Well, you know, sometimes God's plan is, you know, it works out rather mysteriously. You know, it might have been a better thing. I don't know, but I know with Bakari, you know, that there are just some people you can't fix.
No, I mean, well, with God, he's still one of God's children. I'm sorry.
No. And I'm not saying that he isn't. You know, he's God's child until the day he leaves this earth. But my thing is, Trig, you know, and Sean, they tried to fix him. They gave him a home. You know, at some point, you gotta ask the question, you know, what can I do to move forward on this? I got a second chance or a third chance. And you have to ask yourself, am I ready for this? And, you know, when given that chance, you got to show up. I mean, he did not have to bring a gun to the thing. That what were you doing with the gun in the first place? And, you know, so, and then you're going to try to start something with this big giant at the gate, you know, and the only reason you did that is because you realized you had a gun. He wouldn't have showed up like that if he didn't figure he had something to bring Big Boy down. So, you know, and then while watching Maisha, you know, doing her thing, he keeps looking back, trying to figure out how he's going to get to the guard.
Yes, you could tell it was premeditated. Like, it was just stuck in his head. He could not let that disrespect go. And so I think, you know, to what you said about Trig and Shot trying to take him in, because, you know, the after effects is, of course, Jim loses a baby, and then they go to the hospital, and we see that moment where, you know, the father is being really supportive, and Jake is in there holding her, trying to comfort her. But Jake was hot when he got home.
As well he should have.
He really, you know,
he should have been.
You know who he looked like?
I was gonna say about Shad, though, is like he was well intentioned in trying to bring Bakari in and trying to support him, but you have to be very hands-on with somebody like that. Like, you can't really just let them try to figure things out while they're being sheltered in your home, especially when there's animosity with them and other people in the house.
That's what I was saying last week when I was saying about Rashad. You know, he was well-intentioned, but he needed to read the room, because I was like, you brought the ops into the house. And I said, and you know who else? Jake and Papa are not gonna be cool after this. I said, because Jake brought Bakari to the function. And then now Bakari is going to be staying with him. Now, I think the father, since, you know, I said before, the word of God transforms. So, you know, Papa's father may be able to reach Bakari through the Bible and stuff eventually.
Let's all
But right now, Jake and Papa,
Yeah. It's gonna be a problem.
But see,
because, like you said, not only did you bring Papa brought Bakari to the function, but then after the fact, you taking him into your house. Like, what are you doing? You know what he did, and you're supposed to be my friend, and you're out here supporting a guy that made me lose my baby. Like, what is this?
And the Bible can't save everybody, because everybody don't want to be saved. And if he doesn't get it in his head that, you know, just carrying this gun around, when you carry around a gun, you're looking for something. Okay. I mean, unless you know that your life is at stake and you're carrying this gun to you know, possibly defend yourself, which, as far as I know, Bakari didn't have a reason for it. You're just looking for trouble, as we see in the club. He was looking for trouble.
Yeah. I mean, Bakari killed somebody. So when you kill somebody, you always got to be looking over your shoulder. That's why he has a gun.
And well, you didn't need it at that point. And my thing is, that's why he started the fight with Big Dude. Because he felt he had something to protect himself with.
Yeah.
It's that mindset. It's that mindset that it either has to change immediately, or he won't live long enough for the Bible to have any you know, any sustained substance for him.
That's one of my predictions. John, you was about to add something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the writers have done a really good job with these young guys and actually, you know, pulling the trigger and actually shooting somebody, because the same issues that Bakari's dealing with, Kevin's dealing with too. He's just using video games as an escape, where it was alcoholism or weed to get away from it. Bakari's smoking a little bit to get away from it, but at this point I feel like he kind of just wants to feel something, whether it's rage or anything. But for the first time, which I really like how they're developing his character, the first time we saw him feel, because he felt Jake in that moment. He's not the sociopath that I thought he was. I didn't think he felt anything, but he felt for Jake in that moment, and he felt bad for letting Rashad down. He also felt bad for asking Papa could he stay there. So I think that he's going to open up eventually, but telling Ronnie is eating him inside, and he's struggling with it.
Yes, and like you were saying, he doesn't have anything positive to channel his energy into, and so that's why he's acting out the way he is. And I love the point that you made about him, you know, actually showing some emotion this episode, because that was one of the things where it's like, dang, this dude, he didn't mean for that to happen to Jemma or whatever. So you could tell he felt bad, but at the same time, it's like he's so young and immature, and you really want to see him make the change, kind of like how Rashad's character was able to transition from jail into being a productive member of society. Like, you want to see the same thing for Bakari, but I just feel like for some reason he's not gonna make it that far.
He's so angry, and it even showed when they kicked him out. You know, he had this disdain on his face, as if they were doing him wrong. And you know, he can't possibly stay with Jake after this situation, because somebody will get killed. And I don't think I don't feel for the brother, because I do. I mean, when your own parents don't want you, and you got to be a vagabond walking around trying to figure out where your next meal's going to be, where you're sleeping that night, that's got to be a hard thing for him to cope with. But if we don't get that anger management situation together, he will not change, and he'll ultimately wind up, you know, 6 feet. So we got to work on that anger management. And I thought Sean was doing a good job in initially approaching that, because, you know, he was able to talk to him and give him some, you know, words of encouragement. And I thought that might have been a great place for him to learn some things. So it's highly unfortunate.
You know, I thought about it too. Oh, you got something, Tiffany?
No, I was just gonna say, did you see how Trey looked at Rashad too? Like, once Jake, like, he had a look on his face like, I told you.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember, Trey ain't want him to stay there in the first place, and then Rashad talked him into it, but he gave him a look like, I told you.
Yeah, because he knows where Bakari's, he knows what he's cut from.
Yeah, I mean, we seen earlier this season, Bakari jacking his stuff up, you know, causing damage to his car and all that. So it's like Trig already really didn't like the boy like that.
Yeah, Bakari's the reason Jake got beat up, technically.
Yeah,
exactly. Way back when, right.
And I was thinking too about it, because I'm like, I know that this situation with Ronnie can't just be over. Like, there's no consequences for Ronnie dying, even though people know who did it. So I'm like, what if it comes back around full circle to where they really do investigate that situation and Bakari ends up getting locked up? Like, maybe that's the kind of structure he needs in his life. Like, maybe he needs a real wake-up call like that to know that you can't just get off with doing all of these crimes and just keep pushing through life like there's no consequences.
Next episode is going to really tell the story about Bakari, I think.
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah, I think we're going to either see him go left or right. And I think the next episode will really tell the story. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, well, Bakari.
It might, though. It might, possibly, because there was some intricate part in the club where he saw Lanae and his eyes just changed, and she might be what he needs, you know, because technically, if you look at it, he's legitimately what her brother was. Like, they're daggone the same person. She looked at him like that too. She never looked at Kev like that.
Right.
You know, so
he likes the bad boy.
Yeah, definitely. But they have something in common, you know, where if he opens up to her, because he might open up to her and tell her about the Ronnie situation. She's fighting. She has nobody that she feels like that can really listen and understand her as well. So,
and they both orphans at this point.
But
yeah, definitely.
This season.
That's a good point.
But this season has all been about family and structure, and it's been a little softer than what we've come to know. And for the most part, I enjoy it because it's really showing
community.
Right. And it's really showing how community efforts work. We haven't seen much blood and guts here. You know, so my thought was if somebody had to take the bullet, it might be Bakari.
I think it's gonna be Papa or Jake.
Well, you know what? You know what? I was wondering if Jake was going to try to do something to
that's
revenge.
My point. That's my point, because you know Jake was off the chain when he realized that Bakari was responsible for losing his baby. So
I hate to see that happen.
I hate to see it happen. I really do. But you know, if somebody doesn't rein him in real quick, I don't know what's going to happen. Or either, like you said, it could be Jake. I mean, he might come at Bakari the wrong way. He does have a gun. So, you know,
I want you guys to go back and watch that episode and watch how he talked to Papa and tell me that didn't remind you of Reg. He looked exactly like Reg in that moment.
Wow. Wow. He did.
That's why I was like, this was his best acting episode throughout the whole show. It's Mike VF's his name, right?
Yeah,
this is his best acting episode in the whole show.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike.
Yeah, he killed it this episode. I mean, all the way around.
And we ain't mad at you, Mike. I think what I love about this show is it brings out the fire and emotion in us to really sit down and talk about it. I'm not mad at Tiff. I love Tiff. You know, I just think that in this character role, I see her as something that, you know, needs to.
There you go.
I'm just saying, I'm going down the list here. And, you know.
She got daddy issues, man.
Yeah, she's got some serious issues to contend with. You know, Vic, you know, he has to step into his role and has to decide, you know, one way or the other. Well, first of all, we know that his backing is bad for him. And either he has to step away from it or let this whole thing go if he's going to be the Vic we like to see later on. Because right now he's been heavily controlled. Tiara has to understand where Vic is coming from, not so much where, you know, the organization.
Yeah.
She has to really look into Vic's eyes and see who Vic really is, because he's really trying to change. You know, Jake, I'm hoping he doesn't remain lost, but right now he's conflicted. And I'm hoping that in this next episode, we see somebody like Sean or Vic.
Rashad.
I'm sorry, Rashad or Vic, bring him up and bring him out, because he's too conflicted right now.
Well, you know what? Speaking of Shad, he got the game ball for me this episode too.
Yeah.
He really represented. I mean,
yes, he did.
Deja was trying to prep him to go and meet her family. And I think she already knew it was going to be some nonsense. And so she was like, look, don't smoke beforehand. He tried to offer to go to TJ Maxx to get a little cheap suit. She was like, nope, got him tailored and everything, had him with a fresh cut. So he went over there looking very presentable. I must say,
good.
Cleaned up nice.
He cleaned up nice.
Shout out to Jason Weaver because he told us he was coming with the threads this season. So he was right about that. And you know, Deja was really trying to tell him not to mention the jail situation, try to present him in a way that really wasn't who Shad is.
Right.
And so when he got there, her father, and I guess that her sister is who the other chick was, you know, just digging at him, being real disrespectful.
He was a hater.
It was like, you don't treat guests like that come to your house. You don't treat a guest like that, regardless of their situation, or, you know, if they're dating somebody in your family. You should show people respect regardless of what's going on with them. But they were really coming down on the fact, and I'm glad that he brought up the jail stuff because he was being authentic and true to who he was. And it seemed like in the end, you know, the father really respected it, which I was like, I was so proud of Shad.
I was too. He should get the game ball because I was like, he really flipped that situation and turned it around because I was like, oh, this is about to go left. you know, when the sis started tripping and everything, and he really turned that whole situation around.
For some families, they get a little bit of change on them and they think that they're better than God. You know, they're holier than thou, and they have the right to berate somebody and try to figure out where he's coming from. Rashad was coming from, look, I'm a man. I'm a man first, and I'm a man second, and third and fourth. Yeah. And I love your daughter, and I'm going to do the world to keep her, you know, in safety. I'm going to do what I can to, you know, grow with her, blah, blah, blah. And I'm glad to see that the father couldn't help but understand, okay, I can relax now. This brother wants to take care of my daughter, because really, you know, when it's all said and done, if you got a daughter, you're looking for somebody that's going to take care of that woman and treat her like you do.
Exactly. I was going to say that's what any father wants to hear.
I'm a father. I got a daughter, and I know. Look, I'm hard on him when she brings him in, but I'm hard on him because I know right here. When I look here, if I don't see nothing, if it's vacant in your eyes, we got to talk.
Listen, my father is still that way about me. Now I'm grown. And he's like, no, I'm the guardian of your heart until you find the guardian of your heart.
That's how it has to happen.
I was happy Deja didn't just let them walk all over Shad too, because she did interject a couple times, you know, trying to stand up for Shad, and so I did appreciate that about her as well. But Shad really stole the show.
We got to watch out now because, you know, I thought Deja was pushing a little too hard in the beginning.
I agree with you.
A little bit, but I thought she was trying to change what was coming.
Yeah,
she was trying to change him too much, a little bit too soon.
Yeah, you were trying
but she knew what was coming though. That's why I think she was trying to protect him, kind of.
Well, you know, I don't know. I think you might want to have a little longer relationship before you, because theoretically, I think she pushed it too soon. I think they could have met a little while down the road. And that's what I'm talking about with Deja. You know, you gotta be careful because he's no chump. He's not gonna allow you to emasculate him. He loves you. He proved that by doing the things that you wanted him to do so early on. But don't make that a habit.
But you know what else the other problem is? Like, I think that she wasn't intentionally trying to emasculate him or make him feel any kind of way. But I think the issue that's going to keep coming up, because as we know, in relationships in general, finances are the number one reason why people don't stay together. Yeah. And there's clearly like a financial difference between them. You can see Deja's family is well off, whereas Shad really grew up with nothing. He's trying to pick himself up after being incarcerated, and he's trying to, you know, do something positive with his life, but financially he's not there yet. And you can tell he was like, I'm not a kept man. My mom didn't raise me to be a kept man, which I appreciated him. Like, he's accepting her offer, but he's also making it clear, like, I'm not here just to mooch off of you. So I think that might still be a problem though, because of just how Deja was brought up, and she's used to nice things, and you know, Shad is just not on her level financially yet. So I don't know if that might not still be a source of friction in their relationship.
But if Deja keeps it 100, if she keeps it 100 with Rashad, because Rashad made a comment with her, I'm going to grow and build up. So if she keeps it 100 with Rashad, I think Rashad's going to do very, very well. And I don't know, she doesn't give me the impression right now that she's too concerned about what Rashad's bringing in financially. So,
right, but as a man, though, you want to be the provider and you want to bring that stuff to the table. But where she's always been the one to do things for him, and I think he might not like that long term. But like he might want to feel like I'm the one that's doing for you.
But you know, it's like I say, you know, and personally, I know when I first got married, my wife was making more than me, and you know, I didn't have that problem. My thought was, oh, okay, her money and my money makes more money. So,
but not all men think like that.
I know. All men don't think that way because now it's been completely reversed. But the whole point is, if she hangs with him and she, you know, because he still needs to be guided. Remember, he just got out of jail, and it's going to take time to work with him. But he's still his own man, and I think he will make his own way. But I think if she gives him time, and that relationship continues to flourish with love and respect, they're both going to be all right.
Yep. Yeah. The women this episode was something else. I was even thinking about Kev's situation with Simone and Lanae, because Simone coaxed Kevin into giving up 20% of his winnings to Lanae.
But he wasn't the one without Lanae. She taught him her trick.
She made that very clear this episode.
Wow. I thought it was cute that Simone and Lanae became friends, though.
It was, because you could tell Lanae really wasn't trying to befriend her like that. She thought she was weird. But you can see that there's a bond forming. And I like that even though Kev and Lanae are friends, like Simone doesn't have that kind of catty jealousy. And you don't always need to see that between Black women.
Right.
So I do like that.
For the first time in the season and a half, I seen her talk to somebody without popping them big eyes out and doing that little rolling of the eyes thing. So it might be.
Yeah, I think that their friendship is growing nicely.
It is.
Like the situation with Maisha kind of worried me though, because she talked about, you know, dropping college to pursue rap full time, which I was like, dang, she worked so hard and really talked about wanting to make her mom proud and stuff like that. And so to see her trying to like push college off, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, because you can still pursue rap and do college at the same time. So it's like, you really shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, because we know how hard the entertainment industry is. So I was like, I don't know, Maisha.
you know, I can speak to that, because that was the same advice I gave to my son. I was like, I support your dream, but I want you to finish school.
Yeah. And you know, and school is important. I think that you know, we need more vocational schools too for these young men and women. You know, back in the day, we had quite a few of them, and you know, college just isn't for everybody. You know, but if you know what you want to do, I guess, if you know who you are, and you approach it in that manner, then you make that decision. I'd like to see, you know, my kids are in college, or rather, the one remaining is in college. The other two graduated, but I can see with the youngest one, you know, he's struggling. You know, not so much in that fashion, but vocational school would have been perfect for him, because this dude can take apart something. I had this real quick off the tip. I had a light that I bought. It stopped working, and I was going to throw it away. It was a $300 light. And he just happened to look at it and said, what's going on? I said, I can't get this thing to work. That boy took it apart, and in 10 minutes, it was working, and still works to this day. And, you know, I'm just looking at him, and I'm like,
I mean, because college really isn't for everybody. When you realize you have a talent, you channel your energy into your talents. But like I said, you should always make sure you have a backup plan.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
always A and B. Because another thing I teach them, you know, don't have your main job, have your own thing that you're doing on the side. Because you know what, you're going to be respected more by your boss when he knows that he's not your only bread and butter.
You're absolutely right with what you just said. So I mean, I didn't say this before I got on or anything, but I do have my own YouTube channel where I talk sports. I talk Dallas Cowboys. And so I also work I work at the same company that Tierra does. But one of my bosses is a big Cowboys fan. And he said to me, he found my channel, or I told him about it, and he's always constantly pushing it to other people and all of that stuff. Now, I can't be live and doing stuff when I'm working, but for the most part, he respects the fact that I have a hustle. He told me he was proud of me. He could see that I might not need this one day.
Yeah.
I might not need this job one day. So
and looks at you. His whole lens changes when he sees you, because he sees that what you're doing is building something that he can't give you.
And that's cool that he's not standing in the way of that.
Exactly. And that makes him a better boss, because he's not trying to stand in the way of you, getting that, you doing what you're supposed to do for you. Because after all, this is your life, not his.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Tiffany.
No, I was just going to say, I appreciate that about John, and that's honorable that you have your channel. But I was just going to say that now that I know that you have that sports channel and you're a Cowboys fan, I will be under your comments talking trash because I'm from Philly.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get that YouTube page too, because you're a Dallas fan. Okay.
Right. So we got to give him the business.
Yeah, we're gonna give him the business.
A whole nother argument on
That's
here.
Right.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Bring on the hate. I get it anyway.
Our hate will be with love, though.
Right.
But I was thinking, just to close up our conversation with the Shy, Gemma, I'm worried about how this is going to affect her long term, and whether she'll still have the motivation to keep doing some of the things that she was pursuing, in terms of possibly going off to college and then managing Maisha's career too. I'm wondering if a piece of her isn't really broken, because that's really tough to have your life kind of thought out and really start planning for a child, and then in a second it's like stolen away from you. So I wonder about how this affects her mentally going forward. I really hope she'll be okay. And emotionally, she seems like she had the support of her father, but we even seen him break down a little bit. And so I was like, that's very tough.
That was devastating. And then they had the Donnie Hathaway playing at the end. I was like, now it's sad right now.
Yes, I definitely was emotional this episode, because I could
just
feel the pain. And I wish that when we had Jason Weaver and Judaea Brown and Genesis Hale on, I wish we would have known this information, because I would have definitely have loved to ask them about how their characters have been affected this episode. But of course, they couldn't give up the tea that early. But man, that was a great interview, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go check out our interview with the cast of The Shy. But it would have been great to ask them about this episode in particular.
Something else I want to bring up real quick too about The Shy, because a couple of episodes back, I kind of remember saying something about we wanted to see a buildup of more Black men, and they did that. They did that like nobody's business. This
did.
Amen.
So that's what really captured my heart, because I'm like, I don't know if they were listening or whether it was already scripted, but I'm glad to see that this show does take care of its own. And as you said, Tiffany, the community, because the community involves women and men, trans or otherwise, straight. We are a community, and I'm glad to see that The Shy brings it together in ways that we can only imagine.
Yeah, it's so many different flavors of Black men too. It's like it's the whole spectrum. It's not just one kind of stereotypical type of Black man. It's the whole range is represented. So I'm like, they are killing it.
They had to, because all season 4 was about emasculating the Black man.
Exactly.
The whole season.
Exactly.
So I'm glad to see that they brought it back, full cycle.
Yeah.
You had something, Tiffany?
Yeah, I was just going to say that my own dad, I was talking to him about the show, and he really loves the show, and he was just saying that for him it's about the community. He says one of the best shows about showing us in our community and things. So look, we got several generations over here on my side watching. My son watches, I watch, and my dad watches.
Yeah, so I'm definitely enjoying the season, and as things are winding down, we got episode next week. It looks like it's still going to be heating up with Emmett and Kiesha and Tiff, like we discussed already. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes forward. And then of course, the rest of the game, we didn't get to see Darnell and Jada this week, or anything with Otis and Rosalind and Tracy. So that's still a lot of mess going on. And we got a few more episodes before the end of the season. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how things end up, especially with Bakari. So
I think there's a potential for some people to get hurt. Like,
I think so too.
I think so. I mean, it could be Jake or DePapa, like you said, or Bakari. But I even think about Trey, because I'm just like, if he steps away from this agreement, he didn't sign an NDA. Duda and Quentin are some dangerous people.
Yeah.
So I can see it being problematic that too if he steps away.
I agree. So it's so many different ways this could go. We got 3 more episodes left before the end of the season, so lots to look forward to. And hopefully we can have a roundtable at the end of the season to discuss everything overall. So that would be really nice.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But John, it was really good to have you. I appreciated all of your commentary because you brought it. You had some good comments.
You did.
Yeah. Appreciate you. Can I add one little tidbit, because I don't know if I'll ever be back on or anything.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're welcome to be back.
Yeah. Watch out for this character. Do you remember the old school guy that was in jail that Duda brought the liquor to and he brought the girl to? He's got to be intertwined in this somehow.
I do.
He's got to be some.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to remember the guy you're talking about.
It was
I think that was season 3, right?
I think so too. And he is probably the head guy. He's in jail. So Q was gone away and Duda made sure that he took care of this dude. In my mind, I always felt like he might be Jake's father or something. And that's why they watch out for Jake so much. But watch out for this dude, because I think he's going to, at some point, they wouldn't have introduced us to his character if he wasn't coming back.
That's true. Everything has a purpose.
Right.
Yes. I'm going to go back and watch that.
Yeah, good point. Excellent point.
Yes. And, thank you for that again. And drop your YouTube channel so people can follow you as well.
Yeah, I'm DMV Fanatic on YouTube. So I cover Cowboys, a little bit of sports and entertainment. So yeah, come by.
Yep. And we're going to make sure we put it in the description box as well. So people, make sure y'all go follow John. It's a pleasure having you. And like we said, you're welcome back anytime. Ron always appreciates the support.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was good. Everybody, please make sure you drop down in the comment section and let us know what you thought about this episode. Give us your predictions for the remaining episodes this season. And also subscribe to our channel, like the video, and click the notification bell so you get alerted whenever we post. Go check out our interview with the Shy Cast with Jason Weaver, Genesis Hale, and Judaea Brown. They were awesome. If you haven't seen the interview yet, make sure you go see it. We are also at The Spot Real Talk on all social media platforms, so follow us there as well. On that note, if y'all don't have anything else to add, we can call it a night. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.